Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, March 13th. Um, just 2 to 3 days out from our major significant severe weather system. Um, but for stars for today, we have had a marginal risk for severe weather in Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Hail and wind seem to be the main threats, but there's a chance for a isolated tornado in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida in the southeastern, southwestern Alabama, Georgia. On that Florida, Georgia, Alabama line, wind and hail were the same areas as the marginal risk in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. But we will jump to tomorrow, as tomorrow we do have a pretty significant severe weather outbreak potential. We have a marginal risk extending from Minnesota, Louisiana, including South Dakota, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Michigan, Kansas, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. A slight risk in um, the same states: Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, and a little bit of Illinois. We have an enhanced risk in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana. And we do have a moderate risk, that's level 4 out of 5, in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas. We have a 30% hatch risk of seeing hail 2-inch diameter or greater, and then we have a fairly large 10% hatch risk of seeing hail 2-inch in diameter or greater. Wind, we have a very large 10% hatched risk of seeing wind gusts of 65 knots or stronger. We have a smaller but still fairly large 30% hatch risk of seeing wind gusts of 65 knots or stronger. And we do have a 45% chance of seeing significant wind gusts of 65 knots or greater. Tornado, we have a large 10% hatch risk of seeing significant tornadoes, EF2 to EF5, within this yellow dash area, including Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. The thing with this, it'll be more of a linear line, so it'll be embedded tornadoes, but one or two of those could be significant and potentially strong and or violent. For Friday, if we go to Saturday, we have a marginal risk in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, a little bit of western New York. We have a slight risk in Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, an enhanced risk in southern Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, and another moderate risk, a rare moderate risk for day 3 that includes Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Probabilistic, we have a 30% hatch risk of seeing significant severe weather in southern Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana. And then we have a 45% hatch risk of seeing significant severe weather in that moderate risk of Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. I believe SPC criteria is the largest outlook risk they can give on day 3 is moderate, and the highest significant severe weather they can get out on a day 3 is a 45% hatch risk. And I think if both of those happen, a high risk is imminent. So I do believe that we could see a high risk for Saturday come tomorrow. Friday, there could be a high risk. I don't see it happening as high as Saturday looks more like a pretty big event. And I do feel Saturday, if we do get one Friday, I feel like Saturdays will be a lot larger. Fridays won't be as big, but there is the potential for one Friday, but the potential for one is a lot higher on Saturday, which is not good. Um, Here, we'll show you this. Um, I don't get what's going on. I've had some issues with this all out throughout today. Um, We're gonna look at the HRRR for the Supercell composite because GFS model just isn't working for some reason. So we'll go ahead. Um, you can see this is a lot more not as just block G. This is a lot more, in depth. But you can see at around 11 o'clock to midnight, so they do start to fire up in the threat does increase with a chance for PDS tornadoes in Missouri Friday evening, Saturday morning. And then that continues to move through to Saturday at around 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, look at this. We've got some significant models showing some significant violent potential long track tornadoes happening on Saturday. And this is Saturday evening. But I want you to take a look at the timing that the supercells form. We could have a potential mini tornado outbreak early Saturday morning in northern Mississippi, and then it kind of dies out. But then they start firing back up, more potent and stronger Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening. So again, like I said, I do think a high risk is imminent for Saturday's outbreak. Wording from the SPC was several potentially violent tornadoes are possible on Saturday. But you can see, so this is for Friday, Supercell on the NAM model, and it's all showing the tornado threat increasing on the Friday system, and then Saturday's system, it's also showing a bigger increase in supercells here. So this is not, oh my word. The NAM is showing tornado parameters off the charts, basically. We've got so much spin in the atmosphere here. We've got pretty good amount of CAPE. We have very low base. There is no cap. PDS possible tornadoes. Some of these tornadoes are maxed out. This is the effective layer STP is almost maxed out as high as it can go. So the NAM is showing is showing signs of something that we do not want to happen whatsoever. I mean, even as it moves eastern into Alabama, some of the parameters are still maxed out along with the effective layer STP. So the NAM is showing the parameters and signs of something that we just don't want to happen. But I do feel that we have the potential to see some tornadoes that are significantly strong, violent, and long track. So those are inevitable, I do fear, sadly. We're gonna look at the significant tornado parameters. Or, look at this. That's pretty high, 3.9 PDS tornadoes. I don't even want to know what it's gonna show for. 5. 5.5. Oh boy. This system looks scary violent. Scary violent. Simply put, this looks like a very violent, scary day. I mean, I don't. There's no way to sugarcoat this. You have to take this as serious as the models are showing. With this being 3 days out and it's showing this, that you know it's not gonna downtrend like I hope it does or everyone hopes it does. This does look. I mean, this just. You see what the HRRR still shows the significant tornado parameters in the areas of Missouri, Arkansas, and Mississippi. So there are multiple models are agreeing with this. And when you get multiple models agreeing with this stuff, you know that there's a fairly good chance that this plays out with how it is forecasting to play out. This model is showing that the biggest tornado threat is going to be in eastern Arkansas, along the Arkansas-Mississippi state line, just south of the Tennessee-Arkansas-Mississippi border. But Saturday, it's still showing the most significant parameters for tornadoes in Mississippi, which I do think is correct. I do think the largest area for significant tornadoes is going to be in central Mississippi, central Alabama. So this shows the highly concentrated area of supercells is in Missouri. But, I mean, this photograph, you can't even see it. It literally expands off the charts. That's the environment we're dealing with. It's so unstable that the photographs aren't even on the charts anymore. They're that this environment is that volatile. I mean, the effective layer STP is off the charts. It can't go higher than that. The photograph is almost off the charts. So, I mean, this is getting, look at the parameters it has right here. By Saturday, early morning Saturday, in Tennessee, Illinois, Missouri, and by noon, they're starting to ramp up. So, this one does show not much for significant tornado parameters in Arkansas. And this one shows the most significant tornado parameter chance being in southwestern Mississippi. So we can hope and pray that this is the one that's correct and not the other ones. But we've had, 3 or 4 different models that have agreed with each other. So this is an experimental radar model. Okay, so take these readings with a grain of salt, as it is experimental, so it's still in the works, as it doesn't give you any sounding data, but we can still look and see if it agrees with other models, and it appears to be agreeing with the other models, sadly. So we have a couple experimental models here. So this one doesn't have them as high in Mississippi, but it still has them of it like happening in Missouri. So I do fear that this is a big day, regardless of what model you look at. So Supercell composite. Okay, now the GFS model is back. Where did it go before? But we'll look and see what the GFS says. As for Friday, it has the highly concentrated area for Friday in southern Missouri for tornadoes. But I do feel that we do have this little area right here off the coast of Louisiana. Sadly, I do think that that can move up north and stuff. So, but I will look. We'll just get a look at this bomb cyclone, as it looks like it has shifted a little more west now than what it did yesterday. So now it looks like the heart of the pressure low is going to drop, hit exactly in northeast Nebraska, bringing some rain and thunderstorms. But the snow has kind of gone away, but you can see the line of storms. But and I wouldn't rule out an isolated, short-lived, brief tornado in eastern Nebraska Friday night around Omaha, south of Omaha. So keep that in mind. And then you can see through the Friday night into Saturday morning hours, you can see the supercells in Mississippi forming, and then you can see how quickly they fire Saturday morning at around 9, and how quickly they intensify and then get out of the area and they're out of on the ocean on Monday. We look at dew points before we wrap the video up here. Come Friday, you can see dew points are still in the 50s, maybe even 60s in some places, and that system moves. Those overnight supercells potentially don't appear to be playing a role in taking away moisture from Mississippi, so that is one bad thing, as we're going to have dew points that reach potentially the 70s by the peak of this outbreak, which is just going to fuel the storms even more. So keep that in mind. I'm going to wrap up today's video right with that. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new and you haven't already. Comment where you're from. So ahead of this, we will definitely be live Saturday. Friday, it all just depends on what time the storms fire up. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.